Hello, welcome in everyone. Welcome to your reading today. So from a pretty chilly Brisbane day, here comes your reading. Today, I say chilly, but really it's chilly for Brisbane. Not so much chilly for most winter places, I bet. But today we're doing a reading on, it's like a mix of purpose and freedom. That's what was strongly coming through. And so when I did a little meditation, the reading came through as guidance or finding guidance towards your unique purpose. So this is information to help guide you towards what is right for you individually. It's not going to tell you who you are. That's for you to uncover. This is going to give you a map or a beacon to head towards, to research, to look into, to really find that purpose. And even if you are living your purpose, which I believe everyone really is, we just get to certain places at different times. So when you can feel like you're off path, probably not off path, you're just meandering, right? You're meandering down the path which is supposed to be meandered. It's not about efficiency, getting to one goal and being done with it. There's so much learning in the meandering. Anywho, that is the reading today, and today we're using the crystal cards. I usually put it in as crystal cards in Booklet because there's so many crystal cards, but if you put in crystal cards in Booklet and you ever want this deck, the specific deck, you'll find it with that written down, and it has the same colored box as the background of these cards. All right, so let's see. Take that one. I'm gonna take that one, and this one looks really bright. Okay, so here are your 3 piles today. So for pile number 1, you have the blue lace agate with kindness, good communication, peaceful outcomes, love, and marriage. For pile number 2, you have the golden topaz, faith, wise action, perseverance, and confidence. And for pile number 3, you have the hematite with self-healing, grounding, right opportunities, and justice. Okay, here are your 3 piles. Take your time, pick whichever one, or if you want to watch multiple piles and glean information from all 3, feel free to do that. Down in the description below will be the timestamps. I'll give you a little bit of time, but if you need more, you can always pause the video. There's no rush to get a reading. This is a safe place to slow down and to just vibe with the energy, essentially. All right, I will see you in your reading. Hello, welcome to your reading today, pile 1. You've chosen blue lace agate with kindness, good communication, peaceful outcomes, love, and marriage. All right, so beautiful card to come through as the first one, right? Kindness, good communication, peaceful outcomes. You know, all those kind of things that we really want in life. We love a little bit of like the rockiness sometimes. We want a bit of vibe, right? If everything is smooth sailing, then we may get bored unless we need that time to rest. Like if it's like after a chaotic or stormy time, we need that. Okay, I need to give myself a break, right? So it depends where you're at this time, but I feel like this is part of your blessing. And I always feel like, or purpose, and I always feel like that if our purpose is kindness, sometimes we go through times where we aren't kind, or we say something that, you know, is out of our norm, or alternatively, and probably alternatively, because when love begets love, hate begets hate, sometimes if we're treated poorly, then we can pass that on in a different way. We can be overly nice or overly or like attack before we get attacked, right? We get those trauma, basically, or trauma. So I feel like that, with all that said, this one really is coming through as like a friendly, hey, you're worthy of peace, happiness, good connections, love, all that from within and in your external world. You're allowed to have that. So this could be like a really quick, I know I'm already reading the card, the reading just off this one card, but it just really wants to flow through right now, and it is saying you're worthy of that. Do you believe you are? And what's your relationship with communicating, with kindness, with love, with, you know, being able to be okay with peaceful times, right? All that kind of stuff. Do you feel like you're allowed to have that? Or do you feel like no matter what you do, you'll always have chaos, right? It's just understanding that. Where does that come from? Why is that your truth? Okay, so this is your guidance on finding your unique purpose. Now, purpose doesn't have to be for the rest of your life. It can be for now. It can be you're in amongst like a big transition, and so this is like for a long time. It's going to be whatever you feel is right to you. Okay, those slammed down, so I'm going to grab this one that popped out. I'll grab these ones. These are my new cards. I finally got the cards created, so you can see here. I was going to call myself on here the Blue Light Oracle, but I put my real name on here. So yeah, quite exciting. So these ones are the cards that will be getting sent out to the people who ordered them. They actually get picked up tomorrow. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's grab your cards out first. So I'm very happy with how they all look. It is quite something. Creating your own, I don't know, creating your own creations in general, right? If you have children, you know, that's creation, obviously. If you have like, if you're an artist, that kind of thing, or even if you do amazing spreadsheets or like displays, projects, you know, whatever it is within your work, outside of your work, within your own art, you know, anything. Sometimes we get caught up in the mundane and we forget about our own magic or our own skills or flair, right? And appreciating that is I feel like is important. Okay, anywho. Guidance on finding your unique purpose. Oh, this one. Okay, so here are your oracle cards. We'll go through them and then I'll grab these cards. These are a little bit shiny here, but this was the Real Talk Tarot and I feel like they really wanted to come through. I'm going to read them all upright. Even if they're reversed, I just want to get the message out as neatly as possible. So you've got power. This is remembering your power for sure. You can see here we're talking about storm, right? Especially if you're in it or just out of it, give yourself the time to relax, to rest. If you're in it, find time to take a breath. You might not be able to take a walk or like get away for a long time, but if you're able to give yourself the opportunity to take a breath, that'll really help with making decisions that are true to your heart. You've got Akaraba Malu and the cuneiform, friction, interactions and gossip. So interactions can be any kind of interactions, right? Reading the news or looking up news online. It doesn't have to be news, but news keeps popping up. Or even just talking to certain people or getting involved in comments online. Parents, all that kind of stuff, everything. And the cuneiform is a style of writing. It's like an old text, and I when I created this deck, with this card in mind, it was things that are set in stone. You know, sometimes things are set in stone, but really, in reality, nothing is really set in stone, right? From where we were thousands of years ago to where we are now, things have changed. Back then, some stuff couldn't have been imagined what's around today, so nothing is really set in stone. So this could be a huge breakthrough, and if there's gossip and stuff like that, it's detaching yourself from any kind of bad behavior of others or self, or getting caught up in it. You also have the zombie and the Viviazan. This is repetition, lost souls and rights. This could be in cycles with people. There are people out there that we get caught up in cycles, right? I notice it when I go back to my parents sometimes, and I get like, not turned back into a child, but just remember or see my parents or my other family interacting, and not judging or criticizing it, but just seeing it for how I used to respond or get caught up in it. And sometimes that's nice nostalgia, and sometimes it's like, oh yeah, this is still how they interact or talk and deal with their problems, or ignore their problems, right? Or deal with their the loving side of it as well. It doesn't always have to be the negative, but just seeing that nostalgia in positive or even in cyclical ways. But lost soul, wandering. It's basically what a lost soul does. It wanders. It keeps moving forward and bumping into things. But yeah, this is how it kind of feels with this one, especially next to power. It's like remembering your power. The zombies, in TV it's depicted in a particular way. However, in the way that it was kind of thought of back in the days, especially in Haiti, and that's where this is kind of vibing from, there was this idea from many different African countries, right? Because there was a lot of people taken from multiple different places and then pulled here. And so it kind of evolved over time and had roots back into many different countries. But in Haiti, there was this idea for, I guess, majority or some of the population that were enslaved, that when they passed, they could also be enslaved. And reanimated, and then continue to be kind of soul trapped into a cycle. This feels like a huge opportunity to break out of old cycles. You might have been on this planet many, many, many times, and not to say you're stuck, but this could be a great opportunity. This life is like a great opportunity to break out of old habits and patterns. Maybe breaking out of a lot of patterns within a soul group, your soul family, or just a group that you've kind of like intermingled with more recently, or over many lifetimes or whatever, that it's like it's time to not go through this process again, especially if it's like, it's hard when we're talking about a very abstract way of past lives, because we can't just go back and kind of like look at all these past lives. Sometimes we can with readings, even QHHT sessions, you get a very good read of it, but this is like, I interact with this person, we want to have this relationship turn into something really beautiful. So we have a life, doesn't work, we swap, one's the male, female, whatever, it doesn't work, and keeps trying to swap it just to see if we can get this particular outcome we both want, right? And if you do it over multiple lifetimes, maybe it's time to just cut the cord and be like, look, this isn't working, that's okay. We can agree to go in our different directions and try to learn whatever lesson we're trying to learn together in different ways, because this isn't working. So this could be just like a very clean, like, okay, look, peace and love, right? All that kind of stuff, but this is not going to be something that I want to continue after this life. Again, I don't want to repeat certain things that I've felt in this life over and over again. There must be a better way to learn a particular lesson, and maybe our souls at this time are just not going to get that particular outcome. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of feeling. I deserve peace, contentment, and it can be just like a slight mindset change, which triggers a whole lot of shifts in your whole, what would you call it, past life lineage of yourself. I don't know how to word it, but that's kind of how it's feeling, especially with these two, because these are more fiery cards, right? And you've got power here, which power is interesting. It's kind of interesting with Jacinta Ardern's book coming out, a different kind of power, different way of leading is like how it kind of comes through. If you've ever seen her, she was the New Zealand Prime Minister, and she's no longer now, but she's like traveling around in anyway. Just with power coming through, it doesn't always have to be the way we see power now, which is, you know, I remember in the past seeing people writing about, yeah, they have their foot on this person's throat as like a power move. And I'm like, if you have to hurt, injure, kill, or like put fear into other people, is that real power or is that just fear? That to me seems like I'm going to scare you so much that you'll do what I say. I don't see that as powerful. I feel like that's the only way someone can overcome or, you know, better someone is by force. And so the book anyway, I haven't read it or anything, but from interviews and conversations, it's really doing what is right for the majority, not what feathers my nest, not what raises my ego, what really is right in the situation. And that's why, you know, going back to this and talking about past lives and that kind of thing, if I can agree that this isn't working and we can come to that kind of like agreement, that isn't a loss or a failure, right? That is a maturity of the soul, accepting that there are many different paths to get here. We don't have to keep intertwining or karmically kind of like coexisting in a toxic way for eternity. There is a breakthrough and a release in some sense. So yeah, it's very interesting in that kind of case. So take what you will from that that energy, because that love and marriage is popping through. All right, inner earth, base chakra, strength and security. Look at that strength, power, security, laying foundations, right? This could be a really strong time for you to really ripple through. This is how it's feeling. It's feeling like your certain shifts and changes you do today based off your heart, based off your love, not romantic, but based off your truth, your authentic energy, will ripple through past lives. And if you're someone, because I feel like some of you are like, yeah, I know this life, this life, this life, this life. Some of the ones that you ripple through will almost like alter the trajectory of some of those past lives. Might sound strange, but it's just like you might start to see different outcomes in those lives. Regardless of what the end result is, it's just like I lived in my truth, regardless of what happens, and I'm proud and happy with that. That's kind of how it's feeling. So you can really start to build a new foundation of future lives, I guess, or I don't know how to word it. It's kind of hard when we're talking about past lives because depending on what you believe, but like past and future and now is kind of like not linear, right? It is for us, or we are best to perceive it that way because it's how our mind will function in this body and this time. So yeah, but you know what hopefully you know what I mean with past and future life. This is like a really good critical point, I guess, but nothing you need to rush through. Just like recognize and start to set a new tone for your soul, a new song. Yeah, bam, karmic board clearing. Yeah, clearing, so energetic clearing, rewriting your story, live your truth. I mean, what else can I say? I got chills from that coming through, weirdly in my legs, which usually legs are like direction, purpose, where I'm going. So yeah, if you have a lot of knee and leg issues, sometimes, not all the time, obviously. I mean, if you get someone comes along and kicks you in the leg, you know, it's not like exactly because of this, but this, that, or the other. But anyway, legs can be about direction, the direction you're heading. And if there's lots of leg issues, it can be like off course, so to speak, or just like meandering, maybe too far off course, too far out the lines. need to curve in. But yeah, this will, I feel like because it was Goosebumps, it's like a really cool little, hey, look, this is where you're heading. This is exactly where it feels right to move towards. And karmic board clearing, pretty simple. It is clearing the stage. It is resetting. It is rewriting the story. And like I said with past lives, right? Rippling through and changing the trajectory of those lives. I know it sounds strange, but it's written here too. Rewriting a story, living your truth. This is really good. This is really nice. Okie dokie, let's grab some Oracle cards. Sorry, not Oracle, Tarot. This is the Real Talk Tarot. Now, if any of them are reversed and you see a message in that reversal and I don't talk to it, take it, because you're the reader here as well. We're co-creating while I'm doing this reading. You're here with me in a sense. Okay, so now, like I said, if any of them are reversed, I'm going to read them upright. I'm going to take this one and this one. Okay. I just move this one here. All right, so you have the 8 of Swords. How do I start this? Why aren't things working that I go down the track, right? He's got the F here. This person's kind of looking over, probably not really judging or criticizing, just it's kind of like in quiet empathy, right? Or just being like, why? Maybe they're even looking at, why are you doing this class? Why are you trying to go in this direction? Like maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's if you don't enjoy it, but it's really hard and you're stressed most of the time, then what's the point, right? I also have the 4 of Wands. This feels like a great time. Like here, it looks like people are on a date. You could take this as this whole reading is like redefining family for you, redefining connection, love for you, redefining your values, right? This is a lot of stuff here. This is what do you call it? The 4 of Wands. Getting to a milestone, right? Getting to a checkpoint and on a path. Like if you're climbing a mountain, you're getting to a checkpoint where you can take a break because you're like, okay, I've walked, I don't know, 2 kilometers. Now I've got 2 kilometers again to the next point. I'm going to take a breath, take a water break, take some food in, enjoy the scenery too. You know, enjoying the landscape around you or just being observant of it where you're at. Being aware. You've got Temperance, kind of looks like a little runway, which is kind of an interesting Temperance card. Normally it's an angel, right, standing in the water, standing on land, 1 foot in spirit, 1 foot on earth. And here we've got living. This feels like living truth. It can be temperance in moderation, so it's like not to overexert yourself, not to go, what's a nice way of saying it? I'm getting some really weird, not weird, but just funny sassy little lines, so I'll just use this one. But going like you know, taking your time, basically taking your time, not going rushing in, that kind of thing. So temperance is moderation as well. I don't need to be diving 100% into my work, 100% into this and 100% over here. It's 300% right, it's too much. You're going to drain yourself. Make sure you're looking after yourself as much as you are doing the things you need to do, and identifying what is important. This could also be a balancing with this card here. Temperance can be like the balancing act, right? Almost like justice. And then we've got the living your truth, rewriting story, clearing. So it could be just rebalancing the scales. This is really important for you personally. Yeah, look, I'm going to go along with that story again with the clearing the past. If you're like, it's too abstract talking about future and past lives, rewriting them, then think about this life. What is something that you still hold on to that is time to let go of, time to really nurture and heal from the ground up, from the feet up, or from the heart outward, you know, that kind of thing. The Ten of Swords is accepting things as they are and learning from them, and then rising above the challenge or difficulty towards, you know, this is the real peaceful outcome. We think something ending, and if we don't like it, or we deem it or perceive it as negative, then it's not a peaceful outcome, it's a bad outcome, right? But that isn't the end of the story. That is a stepping stone or a milestone within the story. The story will keep going. Okay, so this card, I'm not too sure what I'm going to see, if anything, from this. I'm going to take this as like a overall summary, I guess, of this reading. This reading is really powerful, though. There's a lot of things that cause concern, right? It's like, well, what about this? This person needs to get justice, or that kind of thing. This is not about justice being delivered in the way of a negative thing happening to someone else that may have hurt you, right? This is a clearing of all that kind of BS, all of it, and rebuilding and, you know, heading towards, because this is guidance towards your unique purpose. This is like knowing who oneself is, understanding what your goals are and beliefs and dreams for yourself, not involving necessarily anyone else. This is yours. So let's summarize that. Yeah, do what you love, basically. You've got the Knight here of Cups. He's usually that kind of like romantic style energy. And here, this person's on a little skateboard. They've got their little drink, right? And they're just living their life. Just live your life. That's it. Basically, this is just living your life. He's not living, or she's not living for anyone else. They're just living their life without needing to try to impress other people or be something for someone else or do something for someone else or feel like I have to be this because that's an expectation. This isn't about that. Even if you've got some of those you will need to look at, right? But that doesn't mean you have to dedicate your entire life to anyone else. Some of them you won't even have to. You just feel like you should or have to. Really check into that, because you're not responsible for anyone else's existence. You're really not. Might be a bit different at like if you have children, right? Of course, I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about like a president or prime minister, or like a parent, or you know, something else, or an adult child, right? They really got to live their own lives freely, and you need to live your life freely as well. And this card is saying that. Do what you love. Go towards what gives you life. You don't need to stay stuck in any drama or any violence, right? Or any aggression. You don't, that doesn't have to be your story. Kind of funny how the sword is like connecting to the background little bandana, how it was, and like touching into grounding, boundaries, and restabilization. Nice, I really like this for you. Remember your power. Remember that you have huge amounts of power. And if there's a lot of people demanding it, they don't need to take it from you or tell you how to live your life, right? You are here to live your life the way you deem fit for you. You're not stuck here. You just might be struggling with a path that needs to be let go of. And rebalanced and released to go towards what is going to give you really true love. If we're talking about just romance, I would say it's time to let go of even the past or even someone now that is draining the energy, whether that's through conversation, through breaking up, right? I'm not telling you what to do with that, but just like, you know, if it's really not working and it's not healthy, then why are you still there? Just ask yourself that and then make a decision that you feel is right. Okay, that's it. That is your reading today, pile number 1. I do want to quickly just read one more thing. Don't know why, but they want to read power, so I will quickly read it. Okay, so this is this card here, Power says, it is your time. This is the time to claim your power and step into your potential. This doesn't necessarily mean that you will be without fear. You might feel uncertain, but do it anyway. Be courageous. Let the world hear your voice. Take a stand. Stand up for yourself and for others. Share your passion. Teach from the heart. Write, and your words will have great meaning. Hold your body as if you are incredibly valiant, noble, and brave. After all, you are. Okay. Lovely message at the end. Well, that's your reading today, pile number one. I hope it really helps you. You know your path that you walk, as long as you are happy, you are free, you are feeling confident in where you're going, even if it's challenging or not. That is your path, and we all have free will to choose the path that we walk. But take care of yourself, look out for each other, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, welcome to your reading pile number 2. So you've chosen the golden topaz with faith, wise action, perseverance, and confidence. Okay, this was giving me like golden child energy, which was kind of funny. Which to me, you know, it can be seen as like a negative, right? Sometimes it's the child that was treated better or whatever. It's not really touching on that kind of side of the story. This is really touching on living purpose, living freely. You've had either a taste of it, or you're in it, or you're on the path towards like real meaningful authenticity, real meaningful purpose in life. You're already walking that, or very, very like in it. I don't know where you are personally. You'll know where you are personally or how you feel, but you are on track, or you're on the path that is that you've already laid out for yourself, so to speak. So it feels really good just from the bat with this particular card. Okay. No, I want these ones. Doesn't mean it's easy or has been easy, but perseverance is never something that we think about as a word that is simple, right? Perseverance is that continuation. You're almost at the finish line. You got to persevere. Or you've almost finished this project off. Persevere, finish it off, and you'll feel so much better than giving up and not doing it. This is like keep going, keep going. If you're on a rocky part of your path, there's lessons and learning and growth within that. Even if it was just to slow you down a little bit because you're getting too far ahead. Who knows? But I kind of see it as like a leading the way, a beacon. All right, so let's see guidance on living your authentic purpose. Living life with authenticity and purpose. Okay. Song's really interesting. Listening to some music in the background, you won't be able to hear it because I mute it just so it doesn't interfere with copyright. But it's called Woke Up in Love, and it speaks to, like, you know, in the past being down on your luck, you know, things were difficult, but now I wake up with love in my heart and purpose. It's not because it was given to me by someone else, it's because I know what that is within inside myself. So it's a really positive sign, like where you're at the moment or what path you're on. So if you ever have any doubts or fears, tap into your intuition and see if that's fear based off anything that's authentic, right, or real. Like fear of the future can be still real, but if it's not based off anything that's actually physically happening or doing, right, then take that into consideration as well. Oh, abundance. Yeah, you're on a good path. Let's see what else we got. Aswang, Palacintos, exploit, desire, and materialism. This can be like gaining as well. Like here, she is dreaming of riches in the past, and that's kind of led this Aswang, which is kind of like a vampire, you could say, or, you know, even an energy vampire draining the energy. And so while distracted your energy and time's been taken away, right? It's kind of like at work, if someone holds a little piece of food in front of you, like let's not say real food, but just like a promotion, right? And you were promised that a year ago or last year or the year before, and it's like cycles. It's kind of like waking up from that. It's like, oh yeah, I'll keep doing this because if I stay here, this might happen. I remember talking to one person who was like, well, I've been here 7 years. If I'm over it, but in 3 years I'll be able to get long service leave, which is like an extra 2 weeks. I'm like, so you're going to give up 3 years of your life to gain 2 weeks? That doesn't make any sense. But people have got to make that decision to themselves. But yeah, it was kind of surprising how we get stuck into the idea of that, right? Abundance is real abundance, isn't just like money, windfall, that kind of thing. It's about, I guess, whatever's going to be fulfilling, really. Essentially fulfilling or help you to become more independent if that's what you're looking for, whatever it is. Truthful, honest, all that kind of stuff. It's the people, the energy, the financial energy as well, money, that kind of thing, that really helps propel us towards that fulfillment. But it will never be just material or external. It'll be something through us, and the outside will be supports. Just like this reading's a support, it's not going to tell you who you are. This is a supporter for you on your path in life. So identifying where these exploits are, or things are not getting really done, or someone saying they're doing something but they're not actually doing it right, it's like you'll be more aware of what's happening around you. And if it looks ugly, or it's like, it's cheating in a way, like it's cheating the system, then you'll be able to identify it very, very easily. And so if someone identifies that a company's not working properly or they're taking money off you, right, it can feel really bad, but better to know than not know. You've got the Thunderbird and Ankh, Storm, Eternal Soul, and Longevity. Yeah, this is really setting you up for the future, either in this life, but I feel like it's more than this life. It's like future lives, right? There's certain things that you're identifying and releasing, or just noticing they no longer want in your life, that is going to set you up for far better future lives, so to speak. I know that, a lot of the talks is around time's not linear. We see it as linear in this kind of body, but it's not really linear. It's all happening at once, that kind of thing. And while that's very true, and I feel that it resonates, like with this reading, you could take it as like setting you up for future lives where you don't have to go through or learn lessons in old-fashioned soul learning ways, right? I'm going to learn love by feeling really horrible hatred, or like being treated really poorly, and that way when I find someone, I'll know that that's actually true or not. That kind of like old school style way of a soul learning. This is like breaking all these shitty old patterns. So we don't have to do that. We don't have to learn by that. I can learn by watching someone and then participating, and I've already got an advantage, right? If I watch someone for an hour do pottery, I'm going to be far more better than not looking and then just going and trying it. I'm not going to be perfect at it, but it's going to give me at least some tips of how they move their hands, how they spin the wheel, how much water they use, whatever. Whereas if I go in blind, you just kind of get what you get. All right, star healings, healing codes, important information. Wounds are healed, recharging. Yeah, you're being powered up. This could be like Soul Fam. I also have Orion activation, supernova, recreation, renewal, rebirth by light. Yeah, supernovas are when a star has completed its lifespan, right, in the 3D. And when a star goes supernova, it explodes. So it's like, this is a big shift for your soul. This feels like more of a soul reading, finding purpose in this life, sure. But this is like finding purpose as a soul being in some way, like your soul recognizing a shift and a change in trajectory. Wow, so that's really, really, really cool. Making good choices as well. Taking the right actions, waking up from the slumber of this world, which is kind of like a bit of a dream state sometimes. It can be like we can get really sleepy in it and forget who we are, forget our purpose, forget our higher self connection, forget that we're all equal and one. We want to categorize and separate and put people into blocks and say these people are bad and this race is good and this one's bad. You know, all this kind of human bullshit, really. This is overcoming a lot of that and healing, right? This is not an easy path, but this is the best part of the path and the right path for you. So, like I said, I feel like you're already on this path, so you might be just waking up to some of the human crap, so to speak. Anyway, here are the tarot cards. Let's see what comes through. Okay, I'll take that. This one wants to come through as well. I'll just put it there. All right, let's have a look at your tarot. Like I said, I'll read them upright, but if you see anything reverse that resonates with you and makes sense, then look at the card, see how it feels to you, and if you see a message, then take it, right? It's your reading as well. You're here connecting with this energy and reading as well. All right, so you've got temperance coming through, moderation. The path isn't to be rushed. This is a good path of 1 foot in spirit, 1 on earth. You're not here to just yeet out of the body and go off and play in spirit world, right? But you're also not here to just disconnect from your beliefs, your faith, your like connection with source, and just play in the mud in the 3D, but you're here to do a bit of both. And here you can even have fun on the runway. You know, this person is looking like she's, you know, just living freely, living her authentic self, right? She's just dancing, chilling on the runway. She's having fun while here too. We are allowed to have fun. You're allowed to have fun. You also have 6 of Wands. That All About You card. Kind of interesting with this card when I was talking about Golden Child, right? I was thinking of like the Leo energy. And I don't know if 6 of Wands is Leo energy, you know, based off what people have already labeled it as. But it's very that vibe, right? Leo's usually categorized as shining light, being themselves authentically, or at least expressing themselves in a big bold way, and here is recognizing your value as well. You've got the 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, it's time to strategize and make some shifts and changes that need to be made. This is like rebirth by light, and it's kind of like, okay, right, now it's time to make the necessary changes. I've woken up, I'm recognizing my own soul. This is a huge change for me, and now it's time to make some real action plans. It doesn't mean you have to rush. Like I said, there is no rush in any of these cards, but it is time to make a plan. This could also be your spirit guides. If you're like, well, I don't know what to do, it's like, don't worry, your spirit guides have a plan. They're working with you at a subconscious level at minimum. All right, this card popped up here from pile 1, exactly in the same position, which is wild. But 10 of Swords, let the things that need to crumble fall. Don't try to hold up the walls of a building that was made out of noodles, right? If there's a building made out of noodles and it starts raining, it's just going to get sloppy and it's going to crumble anyway. So let the noodles fall. Let those noodles fall. It's also got daggers into a phone. You know, this could be just a little reminder. I think this is good for everybody, especially me as well, to not get too stuck into virtual reality, because social media is not real. Like it's not real. It is real in the sense that it's in our life, but it's not real interactions. It's not real, you know, that kind of stuff. It can help to facilitate that, and I believe that's exactly what it is. We can connect with a whole bunch of people, meet up and start doing something in the world, but it's it's all kind of disconnected. But take that with a grain of salt, because that's got to be up to you. So I don't know what this one's going to come up with. So what's your next step? What is some advice on your first step towards all this? I feel like you already are stepping, but what's the next step on your path? Oh, go on a date. This is kind of like what these two ladies are doing, but it looks like they are either going on a date, celebrating an anniversary because they're very close. So if it's a first date, or maybe things are just getting, going really well. I'm not too sure. But Four of Wands ultimately is celebration, milestones, sometimes weddings too, right? That kind of thing. Celebrate this moment. Celebrate who you are, what you've gone through to get to here. That's really, 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 really important. Because you'll see the abundance of the shift by seeing the shift from here to here. You'll see the abundance from the difference. If you're at like level 1 in a video game up to level 5 and you're complaining about level 5, look back and remember how difficult it was back here. But now when you look back, how easy it is because you've leveled up. And the 10, okay, well, I just threw that on the ground. The 10 of swords also can be like, I'm finally releasing this, letting go, and I'm rising up through challenge. From challenged, I'm reborn. Okay, grab that card. Okay, yeah, this is what I see at this time. Like I usually say, if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment in or like. If you've enjoyed the information, this is saying important information. I'm not too sure what's coming through exactly. It does feel like this is still getting organized or sorted. So maybe certain things have to play out with other souls, right? Because while I say it's all about us in this reading of our purpose, there are also other people in the world, right? It's not like if I want to win the lotto, maybe someone else is going to win the lotto and needs to win it for whatever soul freaking purpose or whatever. It's not always going to come through exactly the way we expect it to. It's going to come through in a way that is right for us to grow, learn from, whatever that may be. But you're on a really good path of like healing, growing, energy replenishing, transformation as well. The big supernova really does pop up with that, right? There's a lot of good vibes here. Okay, well, that is the end of your reading. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and this really does help you with your path. You're already on a path of light, so take that as heart, as truth to whatever's happening in your life right now. Don't see it all as negative. There are a lot of positives because you're making the choices that are correct, like in alignment with you, by following your heart, by not following fear or getting persuaded by others, right? Other people's energies or fears. Really follow in or tap into your own heart center. Okay, thank you very much for letting me read for you. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Hello, welcome, pile number 3. So you have chosen Hematite for your reading today. This is self-healing, grounding, right opportunities, and justice. And the reading today is guidance on finding your authentic purpose. Wanted to make sure I had authenticness in there. Finding freedom, finding what's right for you specifically. So remember, this is guidance. You interpret this reading as much as I interpret this reading and put it into ways that will uplift you, help you. The song playing as well right now it's called Wicked Games, and the song before that was Dark Before the Dawn. And what the saying that popped up in my head was a saying that I've never really said, and I didn't know it, so I had to quickly Google it. But it says, "Don't cut off your nose to spite your face," which is really a meaning of don't get caught up in destructive people behaviors where it's just going to hurt you, right? There's no point gaining revenge or an idea of revenge if you're lowering your vibration or happiness to be around people just to get it. Do you know what I mean? It's very much around that kind of vibe. It's almost like spending a whole lot of your life trying to drag someone down who dragged you down at one point. It's like, just saying, if there's anything like that, we'll see what comes through the cards, of course, but that was what was coming through. And Hematite is about absorbing dark energy, negative energy, that kind of thing, taking it out of the system so you can give yourself time to breathe, look around, and decide what to replace some of that toxic energy with. And hopefully that's going to help you with finding, your own unique path in this lifetime with all the stuff that you've experienced and had in this life. Okay, so interesting one. The Justice card doesn't have to be about revenge. Justice is balancing the scales, right? That kind of thing. And if you're putting a lot of energy into someone else, then it might be time to pull it back into yourself and look after yourself, right? Take care of yourself, balance your own scales, so to speak. Other people aren't worth your life, if that makes sense. Other people's BS, stuff like that, toxic energy, vampiric energy, isn't worth your peace of mind, freedom. Okay. It's your card. Grab some more. So I'm going to grab some oracle cards and then we'll go through them. This card came out quick. I do a little quick shuffle of all the cards when I have finished the other piles. So when they come through quickly, that's not too surprising. So they've already got the energy of, pile 3, in this case, Hematite. Okay. Nice. Okay, we'll grab some tarot after. Oh, they're a bit wonky. All right. Purity, nice. This is the time to get back to the real you, to get out of all the whatever and come back to the real you, right? Sometimes we think the past things have muddied us so much that we can never take the mud off, but we don't have to hold on to that. It doesn't have to be our story. Other people don't have to define us or define our truth, right? There's this opportunity to clean the state in a sense and clean it in a way that will bring opportunities of openness. So these two really do match up quite nicely. You've got the Kitsune and Enzo with cunning, insightful, and play. There's two sides to the story. The play side coming back to like learning from like past loops, right? And past flows, so to speak. There's something to do with a lesson or learning through difficult people. Even cunning can sometimes be a bit tricky, right? The fox or the kitsune in this depiction can be a little tricky. I've read a lot of stories with kitsune and it's kind of interesting because we can see it as like, well, why would the kitsune leave me to this situation? I didn't want to know that it led me to a path where my partner was cheating on someone else, right? Or something like that, just the saying. Then I could see the kitsune as bad, but it's showing me the reality, right? It's showing me the truth, or it led me to a dead end. Maybe I needed to stop hunting and looking for something. I needed to slow down and plan the path that I need to go on instead of running around aimlessly. That kind of thing. And then the play part, coming back to youth. This feels really youthful. This is another fox, I'm pretty sure. This is an Arctic fox. It could be an Arctic wolf. I don't know. Some kind of canis genre, whatever they're called. What is it? Anyway, let's not get into maths and biology and science and stuff because I can't remember all that stuff. But that's what I'm getting from the Kitsune and Enzo. Guardian and Empty Cup, nature, disconnect and neglect. Yeah, it can be really hard to... I remember watching the Revenge show and she pretty much dedicates years and years to getting truth out and getting back at this family, right? And we can watch it and it's kind of really interesting, but it's also she spends a huge amount of time. You can see it's a lot of heartbreak for her. She's already gone through a lot of heartbreak. She goes through it again with all this conniving, scheming, pulling people down, getting truth out, that kind of thing. And, you know, it's a TV show, so of course it comes through with, you know, we're going for the protagonist, and usually that's how stories end. But, you know, in reality, that can be a huge amount of time where we're wanting someone to admit something or be something when they're not going to be that for us. Because maybe that's not their path, who knows? But the Guardian, I mean, this has a long story of a person who goes out into a forest, just destroys it, wrecks it, leaves rubbish around, doesn't really care about it. They go out again over time and time again. They don't really care. They just neglect it. They just don't care. And then they are injured, and instead of choosing death, they are met by like an ent, I guess, like a tree spirit, and have the opportunity to become a guardian or die, basically. And so they, you know, die in the sense of losing the body and going back to source, or becoming a half kind of living creature where they're kind of like tree but also human, but not really either or. They're just like a blend. And then they become a guardian of the forest, and in reflection, other people come around and do the same thing that this being was doing. So they get to really see, they get to learn and see through experience what it's like to just neglect or not to be doing stuff, right? And so we could feel neglected, we could feel disconnected from ourselves sometimes, from our body, from source, from love, from many things, people. And he comes to terms with that, and he's able to, like, the story that popped up when I was doing this, it was like a very long story, and I didn't write it down or anything. It just remember it from time to time when the card pops up. But he ends up finding someone who's gone through a similar type of learning, and she and him are kind of in the same boat. They're both half and half human, half tree, I guess, or half plant, and they end up, you know, becoming really, really close. So he finds that fulfillment and connection, and you could see that as like going to AA meetings and speaking to people that have had that kind of, got to go through those kind of things or feel that kind of guilt or whatever they're talking about, right, in those meetings. Kinship, or, you know, meetings where people talk about their cancer situation or having family with cancer, you know, whatever it is. Like, it doesn't have to be specific to that, but it's just like being able to share that kind of thing with others, or being able to share that with myself and be like, okay, I need to recognize that I'm spending too much time worrying about what other people are doing. My path now is to heal, to ground, and to move in a direction that is fulfilling to me, not letting the past dictate where I'm going. This is a time of purification, fun, and play. And you know, that kind of message is what's coming through. Right, you've got the inner earth, base chakra, strength, security, laying foundations. Yeah, there's this idea of rebuilding again. This card popped up, same location in pile 1 as well. If you're interested, you might want to check that out. Might have a little bit of something else, but also if you're not called to it, you don't have to, because this is still a very separate reading. And you've got angelic frequency. Angels are here. You are safe. Potent connection. Yeah, this is a really good time to make some shifts, make some break away from the old, right? The old you, the old past. Like a really good time of not so much clearing the slate, but processing, healing, staying stable, and moving forward from a solid base, not letting the past dictate who you are. Like this guy, right? He was neglectful and kind of treated the earth or the environment kind of in a shitty way, and then looks back on it and can feel guilty about that. But he doesn't have to relive that. Like, the cup empty isn't a bad thing. It's an opportunity to fill the cup with what you want. Okay, so these cards may come out reversed, upright, take it or leave it. I'm going to read them upright, but if you see like a message in the card that feels like, oh yeah, that should have been reversed, then you're the reader as well, right? You're here with me. Take what resonates. and take your own intuition into account with these readings. These readings are never to dictate to you what you need to do, how you need to think, what the cards are exactly meaning for you. This is a reading for many people who choose this path, so you got to be a part of it as well. Or you can just sit back and listen to the vibes. Hey, it's your life, right? I'll take this one as well. And I kind of want to take these two. All right, there's a lot of cards. Okay, so let's take a look at these four first. You have the Nine of Wands. That idea of keep going, right? You're almost at a pinnacle point in your life where some things will make sense and the past will be the past and you'll see the benefit of the path that you're on. But you're in a good place, right? Right opportunities. This is a good time. This is a good time to look after yourself, to recognize where you're at, to recognize what's dictating you or controlling, manipulating, whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's too much of manipulation. It's just like, this is a good time. It feels like this is a good time to make some good decisions. Yep, you've got to put in the effort. You've got the Eight of Pentacles. I was talking about sharing information. There's a lot of information online as well, but maybe you want to share your own story. Maybe you don't want to share it, but you just want to record it and upload it to YouTube under private and just have it there. And then one day maybe you do want to share it and maybe one day you won't want to share it, right? It depends. It doesn't really have to be decided right now, but maybe that's a good way of processing some of the stuff, just saying how you feel. Could be even just writing a journal, a diary, writing down your dreams, writing down the dreams that you've had last night. You might think, well, what's that got to do with anything? You never know. It just might be a good way of letting out some of that internal feelings, energy. I keep saying energy, but like could be just whatever's inside outward so you can see it. It's always interesting when they do some clearing out kind of shows, like Hoarders is probably a good one, right? The American show where they grab all the crap out from inside of one room sometimes and it fills up a whole backyard. So you know, it's like you really get to see it all once it's out there and be like, wow, this was all in like a lounge or in a bedroom. Like that's crazy. There's still a lot in there. So, you know, that kind of vibe. You've got the Queen of Pentacles. I love this right next to the Angel card. This kind of like higher connection. This is where you are meant to be, is like how it feels. The Queen of Pentacles, someone who has exactly what they need around them. Is able to support and help those who are, you know, wanting help, wanting your advice, wanting assistance, but she's not running around trying to do it all. She's sitting there and people are coming to her, and she decides what, how, and when she can help, right? Sometimes some people need to learn their lessons. You can't keep bailing them out. You can lovingly say no to your child who wants another muffin, right? And they've already had 2 muffins, right? It's like, it's enough. You've had enough. Like, let it settle in your stomach first and then see how you feel. You know, that kind of stuff. It's like, it's not mean to not give someone everything, or allow them to eat the whole block of chocolate or whatever. It's okay. So it's kind of like, you know, doing what's right for you, and also by doing what's right for others. A Fool. Got the Fool card coming out. On a new path. This is going to be a new journey for you, a new way of living your life, through a lot of healing, reflection, and laying new foundations, essentially. Reconnecting with your truth, understanding what that really looks like. You don't need to know what that looks like now, because whatever you've got with you now is what is important. So whatever you've got around you, you don't need a new backpack. If you don't even know the contents of the backpack you've got now, you want to open it up, look through it and be like, okay, throw some of this out. All right, this backpack is ripped here. It does need to go. Now I can grab this new one, fill it up with the stuff that you've kept. You don't need to fill it up with all the old crap, right? Just the stuff that you want to take with you now, and then go on the journey. Okay, what are these cards here? I guess, what is the next step for you? What is the first step? What is the next step from this point forward? I kind of can see it as like there's a lot of reflection, healing, but we'll have a look at what these two cards say, because this is going to give you more of an in-depth idea of the next step from here. Next step from today to get into your authentic and meaningful purpose in life. Funny, because this card came out as like in a similar position in par 1 again. So again, if you're interested in it, go check it out. Got the Knight of Cups. I see the Knight of Cups, especially in this one, is like living freely, right? It's not, this person, male, female, whoever, is not judging themselves based off what other people may be thinking. They're moving quite quickly, but they're doing it in their own way. A lot of people would normally take a bus, drive, cycle even. But you know, sometimes some people just want to race down the hill on a skateboard and do some tricks, and you know, just enjoy that kind of like that way of getting to the next stop, which is reminding me of like your next step is what you feel is the right way to move on, to move forwards. Not what other people think. Other people might think it's to go to a meeting, it's to talk to the person that is the trouble, right, or whatever. But you got to decide what's right for you. Those all may be true options, but you got to decide what really feels good to you. And Strength card, overcoming fears, right? Overcoming worry and fears, and not basing your next step off old information or old stories. It's like, I'm going to choose what feels right to me, which is this. This is going to be difficult, which I am a little scared about, but you're not making a decision of fear. You just know that the path forward has moments where there's going to be challenge, and that may rattle your cage a little bit, right? But better than sitting in a space where you don't feel comfortable or belong. Okay, and last little bit, I'm going to read the Purity card because I feel like there's something there. Okay, dokie. All right, Purity cards are this little, I can't remember what they call it. Is it heterochrome something? I can't remember. It's like, it's the hetero because they're different colors, but I can't remember what it's called. So anyway, so it says here, no matter what happens in the past, everything can be fresh and new again. The purity of your soul is shining through everything that you encounter. You are entering into a period of grace. Simply open your heart and know that the best is yet to be. The past does not need to equal the future. Oh my God, this is taking the words right out of my mouth, right? I literally said this anyway. But it's putting it in a slightly better way. Your future can be and will be shimmering, sparkling, and bright. Old limiting patterns are dropping away. Reoccurring challenges are releasing. This is a time of redemption, forgiveness, and holy healing. Holy healing. Yeah, it's kind of interesting with this card, right? Healing, holy healing, you know, justice, going on a new path. And you've got the Fool right here. There's no need to rush towards the Fool. You know, feel this reading out, all of it, but you're getting a lot of good high voltage energy flowing through you to make a stand, to make a decision, to make a choice. So yeah, take it and go with that flow. There's no rush, there's no stopping, but there's no rush either. There is a step by step. I think sometimes the kids say brick by brick, but I don't even know what that means. I finally got to an age where I don't understand a lot of the new stuff that comes out from people. But anywho, no matter about my old age, hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, let me know, of course. You can always just leave a pop in the comments, leave a like, anything like that. I hope this really helps you though. You know, our hearts are really important in this, and laying foundations, getting back to who we truly are, is what's going to help us become our authentic self, or express our authenticity through how we love, how we move, how we work, how we see people, you know, all that. And there's nothing wrong with leaving the past in the past, essentially. Okay. thank you for letting me read for you today, pile number 3. I hope this really helped you. It was really here to help you. Look after yourself, take care of each other, and I will see you next time.